Hi everyone! Thanks so much for joining us. This is our Tremble Clefs Spring Talent Show 2021. My name is Matt Ignacio. I'm the director of Tremble Clefs San Diego, and we thank you so much for joining us tonight. Now grab your favorite beverage, because it's time to kick things off with some special toasts from the members of our board. Cheers!
In the middle of this pandemic last November, Tremble Clefs found that we needed a new accompanist. Jerica had gone off and married Matt and taken a new full-time job. So we looked through our files and found a resume from Barbara Berlin. She had excellent skills and experience as a musician, a pianist, choir director, music educator. So we hired her as our new Wednesday morning accompanist, which has turned out to be an excellent decision and a wonderful relationship. But there's more to the story. Barbara's resume included a long and successful career in sales and marketing and social media experience. She also understands nonprofits and small business, and she's sensitive, understanding, and generous with her time. Barbara volunteered for our marketing committee and has been meeting with us for the past 4 to 5 months. Currently, she's helping us with our sponsorship project, originally initiated by Rick Ankrum, and she's helping to explore opportunities in the San Diego business community. She's also helping to analyze our current financial and personnel needs, and together with John Castell, she is managing our Facebook page. By the way, if you have anything to post on Tremble Clefs Facebook, please see Barbara. I know she's anxious to meet with all of our singers in person. This hasn't happened yet. And I look forward to the day when I can welcome her live to our program and our organization. But meanwhile, here's a toast to you, Barbara, and a thank you for all the skills and talents that you bring to the Tremble Clefs.
Karen Guevara makes things happen. She turned her talents to co-chairing Tremble Clefs' 2019 Friends and Family performance and the 2020 Francesca and David Savage concert. Karen planned, recruited volunteers, set up the hall, organized refreshments, and staffed registrations, donations, and opportunity drawings. And for Friends and Family, she got several singers to share what our chorus means to them. These events raised thousands of dollars for Tremble Clefs. In 2018, Karen took our website in hand, redesigning it with a more professional layout and improving its ability to attract donations. She also served as a charter member of the Tremble Clefs marketing committee that raised our presence in the community. Karen's musical talents add an island flair to our rehearsals and events when she performs with her husband Dan as a ukulele duo. They became a quartet at one talent show when Maureen Ceccarelli sang and her husband Andy played ukulele with them. Karen, a toast to you.
It's my honor to propose a toast to a person who has supported this organization for 21 years. Bruce Kelly has given countless hours for the improvement and enrichment of Tremble Clefs. In the early years, he was the prop master. Bruce loves to create and loves to tinker and is very good at it. Also in his early years, he was the source for pasta parties. He was the official Santa Claus for the Tremble Clefs for many years. Nowadays, I think of him as the king of raffle, manning the raffle table when we raise money. Then he championed the infamous Tremble Clef Classic Auto Show, inspired by his car show contacts with some of his car club buddies, because Bruce had a really cool PT Cruiser. Bruce's later life, I believe, was made more full with the installation of his deep brain stimulator. His voice and demeanor have gone back 10 years. We're all very happy for him. I salute the prolific volunteer, Bruce Kelly.
I would like to honor Matt Welsh. I've had the opportunity to get to know Matt through his faithful attendance of the Tremble Clefs board and marketing meetings. Matt is a licensed California contractor working in residential remodeling and is active in real estate investing, focusing on continuing education and investment opportunities. He wrote in his TC bio, "I have had a successful life in family and business and feel the need to give back, thus my interest in Tremble Clefs." After attending the North Inland rehearsal and a TC performance, Matt began attending board meetings in May 2020 and took a special interest in helping with fundraising and marketing. Matt has spent countless hours researching companies that specialize in fundraising software with accessible platforms for charitable and nonprofit organizations. This would help Tremble Clefs streamline and combine many of its essential fundraising and administrative needs. He has initiated a GoFundMe project for the organization. He introduced the marketing committee to the fundraising software company Network for Good and facilitates ongoing interaction with the company's representative. Matt is also exploring investment opportunities for Tremble Clefs using his background, knowledge, and experience in finance and investing. Matt's enthusiasm and knowledge have made him an essential member of Tremble Clefs leadership. Thank you, Matt.
Jim BREGA'S fingerprints are all over Tremble Clefs. He chaired our first classic car show in 2017 and encored as co-chair in 2018. Jim put in countless hours on these fun events that netted several $1,000s each year. He pulled together a huge volunteer corps, organized opportunity drawings, sponsors, trophies, sales of Tremble Clefs gear, a big turnout of local classic car owners, food vendors, bands, and a Tremble Clefs car song concert. We belted out Route 66, Daddy Took the T-Bird Away, and other songs from the heyday of American car culture. Jim kept us busy. He created and led the Smart Moves program during summer and winter breaks. We fenced with wacky noodles, played games, square danced, read aloud, sang, told stories, and had a great time getting together. For his Speaking of Parkinson's series, speech therapists gave short talks to singers in the Central Chorus rehearsals. And who could forget the talent shows that Jim organized for our winter holiday and end of the year spring parties? Tonight, we're enjoying the digital version. Jim, a toast to you.
We have a little joke among those of us on the Program Operations Committee. Bill Farrington, I think, was the first to point out that Jim Paterniti married well. Jim is chair of that committee. And we were all very grateful that when Jim signed up for Tremble Clefs, we also got to know his wife, Mary Drummond, a force in her own right. Mary has the kinds of skills that sometimes run below the radar of the publicity and events that she helps make possible. Starting with the Songshine workshop in February of 2020, Mary engaged the presenters, selected the venue and careful use of the space, coordinated with John Castell for advertising and marketing. She set up online registrations for 80-some Tremble Clefs. She coordinated volunteers. From the coffee and pastries in the morning to the box lunches from Panera, Mary took care of hundreds of details with style and charm and competence. This pattern of competence was repeated as she coordinated with Karen Guevara to manage the tickets and donations for the Savage Family concert the following month. They registered new arrivals, ran the opportunity drawing, and were responsible for a high-yield fundraiser right on the edge of the COVID-19 shutdown. It was touch and go. And this year, Mary took on a new responsibility. She helped produce a virtual workshop. In February, she managed the publicity and registrations for Kathleen Hansen's Amazing Voice workshop on Zoom. She designed and distributed the flyer and helped with some of the technical issues. Constant contact, no problem. YouTube, Zoom, Matt, just tell me what to do. Mary is a great combination of artist and technician, and we thank you for all you do for Tremble Clefs. Here's to Mary Drummond.
Hi, it's my distinct pleasure to be able to propose a toast to our next volunteer, Robert Alvarez, our guitar player. Robert's been performing for us for a good 7 or 8 years. While a lot of our accompanyists come and go, Robert's stuck with us the entire time, and we really appreciate it. He's not only there for our rehearsals, he's there for our performances, and he's even performed with us at a couple of funerals. He's always willing to help out singers, particularly at our year-end and semi-annual talent shows. He's always willing to accompany the singers if they ask him. He helps out unloading and unloading. He even carries our keyboards for us. Just about anything you need to do, Robert's always cheerfully willing to help. It's fun walking in, talking to him, seeing that smiling face every time we come in. He always seems to be very happy and very, very much enjoying participating in Tremble Clefs. He went back when we had barbecues and could actually go outside. Robert was our chef. According to Karen, he makes himself particularly useful in consuming treats at snack time. But I think his best job for us is as unofficial first assistant to our president, Karen. And his duty there to keep her happy 24 hours a day. He tells me it's a full-time job, but we're glad he does it. So let's lift our glasses to Robert. And you know, somehow a glass of wine doesn't seem quite appropriate for a guitar player. So I think I've come up with something a little more appropriate for Robert. Here's to you, Robert. We love you, man. Thanks.
Cheers again to all of our wonderful Tremble Clefs helpers. Thank you, board. And now, on with the show. First up is Maureen from our Central San Diego group.
Hello, welcome to my home. I'm going to sing a song today that's upbeat because I feel like we need that right now. So everybody get up and dance. Calling out around the world, are you ready for a brand new beat? Summer's here and the time is right for dancing in the street. Maybe dancing in Chicago, down in New Orleans, in San Diego. All we need is music, sweet music. There'll be music everywhere. They'll be swinging and swaying and records playing, dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there. So come on, every guy, grab a girl. Everywhere around the world they'll be dancing. They're dancing in the street. This is an invitation across the nation, a chance for folks to meet. They'll be laughing and singing and music swinging, dancing in the street. Philadelphia, PA, Baltimore and DC now. Can't forget the Motor City. All we need is music, sweet music. There'll be music everywhere. They'll be swinging and swaying and records playing, dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there. So come on, every guy, grab a girl. Everywhere around the world they'll be dancing. They're dancing in the streets.
Wonderful, Maureen. Thanks for helping us boogie. Up next, we have a throwback performance of Who's on First Base, written by Bruce from our Central San Diego group.
Yes? Oh, yes, I'm available.
Who was that on the phone?
That was the Tremble City Orchestra. They hired me to be their new conductor.
Oh, did you know the players' names?
Oh, yes, I do.
Well, you know, I've never met the players, so can you tell me their names so I'll know who's playing in the orchestra?
Oh, I can tell you their names. But you know, they seem to have given orchestra players nowadays peculiar names.
Oh, do you mean like a dizzy, a slide, or a smooth?
Well, let's see. We have on the bass, who's on first, what's on second base, and I don't know who's on third base.
And that's what I want to find out.
I said, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third.
Are you the conductor?
Yes?
And you don't know the players' names?
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean, the players' names.
Who?
The player on first base.
It's who?
Turn the page. The first base player.
Who?
The player.
Who is the first base player?
I'm asking you who's on first base.
That's the player's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Yes.
Look, you have a first base player.
Certainly.
Who's the player on first base?
That's right.
When you pay off the first base player, who gets the money?
Every dollar of it.
All I'm trying to find out is the name of the player on first base.
Who?
The guy that gets the...
That's it.
Who gets the money?
He does. Every dollar. Sometimes his wife comes down and collects it.
Whose wife?
Yes. What's wrong with that?
Look, all I want to know is when you sign up the first base player, who does sign his name?
Who?
The guy.
Who?
What does he sign?
That's how he signs it.
Who?
Yes.
Look, I'm trying to find out what's the name of the guy on first base, the first base player.
No, that's the second base player.
I'm not asking you who's playing second base.
Who's on first? Who plays first base?
One base at a time.
So don't change the players around.
I'm not changing anybody.
So take it easy, buddy.
I'm only asking you who's the guy on the first base.
That's right.
Okay.
All right.
But what's the guy's name on first base?
No, who's on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second base.
Who's on first base?
I don't know.
He's the third base. We're not talking about him.
That's how I get to know the third base.
Why did you mention his name? Why did you mention his name?
If I mention the third base names, who did I say was playing the third base?
No, who's playing first base?
What's on first base?
What's on second base?
I don't know.
He's on third base.
There you go. Back to third base. But if you would just stay with third base and don't get away from him.
All right. What do you want to know?
Now, who's playing third base?
Why do you insist on putting who on third base?
What am I playing on third? What am I putting on third base?
No, what's on second base?
You don't know who's in second base?
Who's on first base?
I don't know.
Third base?
Look, you got the win section?
Yes.
The clarinetter's name?
Why?
I thought I'd just like to ask you.
So I just thought I'd tell you.
Then tell me who's playing the clarinet.
Who's playing first base?
I'm not staying out the string section. I don't know who that guy is playing on the clarinet.
No, what's on second?
I'm not asking who's on second.
Oh, who's on first base?
I don't know.
Third base?
The clarinet's name?
Why?
Because.
He's got some of it.
Look, you gotta have a vocalist for the orchestra.
Sure.
The vocalist name?
Tomorrow.
You don't know what to tell me today?
I'll tell you now.
Then go ahead.
Tomorrow.
What time?
What time what?
What time tomorrow are you going to tell me who sings the solo?
Now listen. Who has been not singing solo?
I'll break your arm if you tell me who's on first. And I don't want to know what the vocalist's name is.
What's on second?
I don't know.
Third base?
Got a pianist?
Certainly.
The pianist's name?
Today.
Today and tomorrow singing solo?
Now you got it.
All we got is a couple of days in this orchestra. You know, I'm a pianist too.
So they tell me.
So I sit down at the piano to do some fancy playing. Tomorrow singing a solo, me being a good piano player, I like to know who's playing that part of the song I'm playing, melody. You say first bass is playing harmony, so who's playing harmony?
Now that's the first thing you said right.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
And that's all you have to do.
Is the first baseman play harmony?
Yes.
Now, who's playing harmony?
Yes, you said that right.
What did I say?
Harmony's played by who?
Okay.
Now you know the orchestra.
Well, so, I just don't understand.
Yes.
Solo played by tomorrow, where who is playing the first part, Buck plays the second part, How to Know plays the third part, a triple movement song. Next is the solo by the trumpeter because, why? I don't know. He's on third base and I don't give a darn.
What did you say?
I said I don't give a darn.
Oh, she's our cymbals player.
I didn't.
Thanks for sharing, Bruce. And now we have a 2011 performance of Monica from our North Inland group with her group, the Rattlesnake Creek Old Time String Band, performing Wild Hog in the Woods. Thank you, Monica. And now we have a creation by Wanda from our North Inland group called Lego Let 'Em In.
the door. Oh yeah. Someone's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Someone's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Do me a favor. Open the door. Let 'em in. Yeah, let 'em in. Aqua Susie, Red Ninjas, a stormtrooper, Cowboy Don, Cookie Monster, for aliens. Open the door and let 'em in. Yeah. Someone's knocking at the door. Aqua Susie, Red Ninja, Stormtrooper, Cowboy Don, Uncle Ernie, for aliens. Open the door and let 'em in. Oh yeah. Someone's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Someone's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Do me a favor. Open the door. Let 'em in. Oh yeah, yeah. Let 'em in now. Aqua Susie, Red Ninja, a stormtrooper, Cowboy Don, Uncle Ernie, for aliens. Open the door and let 'em in. Yeah. Someone's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Someone's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Do me a favor. Open the door and let 'em in. Yeah, 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 yeah. Someone's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Do me a favor. Open the door and let 'em in.
Very fun work, Wanda. And now we have Tony from our North Inland group to recite some poetry.
The Cremation of Sam McGee by Robert Service. Now strange things are done under the midnight sun by men who mold for gold. The Arctic trails, they've seen strange tales that'll make your blood run cold. The Arctic lights have seen strange sights, but the strangest they ever did see, 'twas on the marge of Lake Labarge, where I cremated Sam McGee. Now Sam, he was from Tennessee, where the cotton blows and grows, and why he left his home to roam the poles, God only knows. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell, though he'd often say, in his homely way, he'd rather live in hell. Now it was Christmas Day, and we were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. Talk of the cold, through the parker's fold it stabbed like a driven nail. And if our eyes we'd close, the lashes froze, and sometimes we couldn't see. 'Twasn't much fun, but the only one to complain was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we laid packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed, and the stars o'erhead twinkled to and fro, he turned to me, and Cap, said he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess. And if I do, I'm asking you not to refuse my last request. And he seemed so low, I couldn't say no, and he said with sort of a moan, it's a cursed cold, and it's got right hold till I'm chilled clean through the bone. It ain't being dead, it's my awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I promise you, foul nor fair, I'll cremate your last remains. Now a pal's last need is a thing to heed, so I swore I wouldn't fail. We started out at the streak of dawn. God, he looked so ghastly pale. He crouched on the sleigh and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee. Before nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. Now a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were dumb, in my heart how I cursed that load. The trail was bad and I felt half mad, and I swore I wouldn't give in, though I'd often sing to that hateful thing and hearken back with a grin. Then I came to the marge of Lake LaBarge, and there a derelict lay, and here I said with my sudden cry is my crematorium. And some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found just lying around, and I heaped the fuel higher. The flames just soared and the furnace roared, such a blaze you'd seldom see. And I burrowed a hole in the glowing coals, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I made a hike, 'cause I didn't like to hear him sizzle so. I've no idea how long I wrestled with my fear among the snow, but I guessed he'd cooked, and it was time I looked, and I threw the door open wide, and there sat Sam, all cool and calm, in the heart of the furnace roar, and he wore a smile you could see for a mile. Come in, he said, but close the door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and storm. Since I left my home in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. Now the strange things are done under the midnight sun by men who mold for gold. The Arctic trails have their own tales that'll make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake LaBarge when I cremated Sam McGee.
Wow, thank you, Tony. And now we have a musical selection by Bill with accompaniment by Michelle.
Only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. sing. If I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things were meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. Like the river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things were meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you, for I can't help falling in love with you.
Beautiful. And now we have Gloria and Kat the caregiver singing an Easter duet.
Let your people rejoice. You risen from death. Now hear your voice, your hands and your prayer. Not for you, but true, not for you. That's the carries and more. We are you. We are yours today. You shall be my head. You shall be my feet. You must be my lamb. Cast down my sheep. You are light to the world, born to the clay, and you must be rising with me, dying and rising with me. You are my flesh and blood today. Let your people rejoice. You shall be mine. You risen from death. Now we are yours. You must be mine. And your pasture, my sheep. Not for you. You are to the Lord. For you. That's the carries and yours. Be Christ. We are you. And Christ. We are yours. And yours today.
Thank you, Gloria and Kat. Up next is Tom from our Central San Diego group with 2 musical selections.
Every once in a little while, some people stare at us. What is wrong? Have they never seen a one-legged man and his dog? Bowser skips along while I laugh with ease at baby birds hiding in the trees. What is wrong? Have they never seen a one-legged fellow like me? I used to do some dying, a little bit inside. Nothing wrong with crying, no need to hide. Every once in a little while, lots of friends come back to me, how they were in Vietnam. Wild and restless young men, some worked all day, some drank all night. Some would play, some would fight. How I wish I could see those young men again. They never talked of dying. How could they know? When your number is up, you just have to go. Every once in a little while, some people stare at us. What is wrong? Have they never seen a one-legged man and his dog? When I was 2, peeing on your roses was my way of having a good time. But to my dismay, I discovered that it led to your spanking my behind. You saved me from interesting things like the oven burner and the top of the stairs. You taught me many helpful habits, like brushing my teeth and saying my prayers. Dear Mom, you played each role lovingly. You were a teacher and a nurse, a counselor and friend. You took good care of me. When I was going through teenagehood, thinking that I was always right, you watched me stumble in the darkness, ready to share your light. Dear Mom, you played each role lovingly. You were a teacher and a nurse, a counselor and friend. You took good care of me.
Thank you, Tom, for One-Legged Man and Dear Mom. Now we have a music video creation by our violinist, Brian.
When I found him, he was almost dead. But I just thought he needed better bread. So I laid before him a feast for those who need most to eat the least. And so a simple problem, and I knew he needed to change, but I didn't comprehend just how deranged it was. So I told him we could fight the beast for those who need most to fight the least. And so a simple problem to face the deepest roots to trace and finding unbearable fate. He was already dead. Is there nothing that I could do? With deep roots and made things worse, avoiding truth. He was already there. Is there nothing that I could do?
Thank you, Brian. And now we have Jim P. with accompaniment by Michelle.
Oh, hi. I'm going to sing a song by a classmate of mine, actually, from Queens College. He was an English major, and he was a year ahead of me, graduated in '63. I was a biology major, graduated in '64. He went on to become a beloved and famous singer-songwriter, and I just went on and on and on and on and on. But in all fairness, he had a year's head start on me. So the song is American Tune, and the artist is Paul Simon.
Many's the times I've been mistaken, and many times confused. Yes, and also felt forsaken. Still, you don't expect to be bright and bon vivant so far away from home, so far away from home. I don't know a soul that's not been battered. I don't have a friend who feels at ease. I don't know a dream that's not been shattered or driven to its knees. Ah, but it's all right, it's all right, 'cause we've lived so well so long. Still, when I think of the road we traveled on, I wonder what's gone wrong. Can't help it, I wonder what's gone wrong. And I dreamed I was dying. I dreamed that my soul rose unexpectedly, looking back down at me, smiled reassuringly. And I dreamed I was flying high up above. My eyes could clearly see the Statue of Liberty sailing away to sea. And I dreamed I was crying. On the ship they called the Mayflower, came on a ship that sailed the moon, came in the age's most uncertain hours to sing an American tune. Oh, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. You can't be forever blessed. Still, tomorrow's gonna be another working day. I'm trying to get some rest. That's all I'm trying to get some rest.
Great, Jim. And now we have a throwback performance by Sammy from our Central San Diego group.
I get up in the morning and I work all day, dredging the moistures of the Chesapeake Bay. There's plenty of work, but there ain't much pay. We're dredging the moistures of the Chesapeake Bay. We're dredging the moistures of the Chesapeake Bay. Oh, Chesapeake Bay, dredging the oysters of the Chesapeake Bay. Hey, Chesapeake Bay, dredging the moistures of the Chesapeake Bay. We're dredging the moisters of the Chesapeake Bay.
When I get to work, there ain't no time for play. Shucking them oysters of the Chesapeake Bay. I grab an oyster knife and I twist it this away. Shucking them oysters of the Chesapeake Bay. Shucking them oysters of the Chesapeake Bay. Oh, Chesapeake Bay. Shucking them oysters of the Chesapeake Bay. Hey, Chesapeake Bay. Shucking them oysters from the Chesapeake Bay.
Shucking them oysters from the Chesapeake Bay. Through working and it's time to play. I love eating oysters from the Chesapeake Bay. Fried, stewed or nude, any which way. Eating them oysters from the Chesapeake Bay. Eating them oysters from the Chesapeake Bay. Oh, Chesapeake Bay. Eating them oysters from the Chesapeake Bay. Hey, Chesapeake Bay. I love eating oysters from the Chesapeake Bay. I love them oysters from the Chesapeake Bay. I'm ever called to the promised land, I hope the good Lord will understand. Them streets of gold are mighty fine, they say, but I'd rather have oysters from the Chesapeake Bay. I love them oysters from the Chesapeake Bay. Oh, the Chesapeake Bay. Love them oysters from the Chesapeake Bay. Hey, Chesapeake Bay. I love eating oysters from the Chesapeake Bay. I love them oysters from the Chesapeake Bay.
Thank you, Sammy. And now here is our accompanist, Barbara.
Hi, this is Barbara Berlin, and I'm not submitting myself as talent. I am submitting my twin sons. They don't know I'm submitting them, but if they end up seeing this, they'll just have to forgive their mom. This is taken about 10, 15 years ago, somewhere between then. My boys who are in the work world doing marketing and that kind of work now, at one time were jugglers, international jugglers who won competitions just like they do at the Olympics. They were gold medal winners a couple years in a row for teams. They work together as identical twins. I guess it's easy to work together. So this is a composition of the things they used to do in Las Vegas on cruise ships, for the corporate world, all those kind of shows. I hope you enjoy them.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage world champion jugglers, Nick and Alex Double Trouble.
Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out.
Wow, thank you, Barbara, Nick, and Alex. And now we have our resident author, James B.
Hello, everyone. My name is James Brega. I just published a book of collected stories and essays titled What I Say Instead of Nothing. I've pledged 100% of the net royalties from the sale of the book as a donation to the Tremble Clefs San Diego, a therapeutic singing group for people living with Parkinson's disease. If you would like to help the Tremble Clefs in their fundraising efforts and get a good read in the bargain, please consider buying my book in either the softcover or ebook format. Simply point your browser to bgmpresident.com and click on the book cover. That will take you directly to Amazon's page for my book. The cover will look like this. And if you need more encouragement, see Sammy Knight's review on the book's Amazon page. I'm going to read you a section of the story, Love Stinks. It was still barely 9 o'clock, and I'd had no dinner, though I didn't really feel hungry. So it's not surprising that sleep did not come right away, even though I was exhausted by the evening's excitement. From the windowsill closest to me, I picked up the remote for my 13-inch Sony TV that sat on the bookcase opposite the foot of the bed. Perhaps it was an ill-advised choice, but I landed on the local PBS station, which was showing Nosferatu, the silent 1922 German version of the Dracula story, with Max Schreck as the vampiric Count Orloff. It's my favorite version. I turned the volume down to eliminate the contemporary score, the original had been lost, and eventually drifted off to the flickering images of stacks of coffins and a dark, malevolent stranger. It was just before dawn, about 5 a.m. I would guess, when I was awakened by a change in the atmosphere of the apartment. Maybe you've experienced what I'm talking about, being aroused by an awareness in your unconscious mind that something had happened. It was not as simple as hearing a noise, feeling a rise or lowering of air temperature, or a change of lighting sensed through closed lids, although any or all of these could be part of it. Whatever the cause, you wake suddenly, every sense alert, blood surging through a wildly beating heart. I lay in the dark room, listening. The TV was still on, and I recognized the stage set and PowerPoint slides for the self-help, touchy-feely, I'm so much more spiritually advanced than you are, lecturer standing, striding back and forth and flourishing his laser pointer. I felt for the remote among the folds of my blanket and switched the set off, triggering a click that sounded much too loud in the room that was otherwise silent but for my own breathing and heartbeat. As I slowly woke to the atmosphere in the room, I could sense water nearby, not a drip, more like a slosh. Yes, that was it. The subtler, almost undetectable sound of water moving back and forth, like tiny laps of what had once been waves against the sandy shore on a protected cove, or the barely audible response of pond water to the slow sway of a carp's tail in a decorative pool. Occasionally a splat of a small amount of water falling from a height. I had enough sense to consider the most likely causes first. The air shaft window was open, and it was raining. I hadn't turned off the water in the sink completely after brushing my teeth. But even as my mind ran through these possibilities, I knew none of them were the cause. I sat up and swung my legs over the side of the bed so that my feet rested on the floor, startled by the film of cold liquid that wet my bare feet. I never thought to turn on my bedside lamp, still disoriented, groggy, shivering in my skimpy clothing, despite the late summer warmth. I began to feel my way in the dark towards the closed bathroom door. I reached instinctively for the kitchen towels as I passed the stove, laying them on the floor ahead of me to create some traction on the slippery tiles. I unlatched the bathroom door and reached through to find the light switch. In the initial strobes of the faltering fluorescence, everything at first seemed normal, but for the somewhat dirty-looking water on the floor, a glance at the dully gleaming toilet gave no hint of anything amiss. As the light steadied, I realized that the bathtub was the source of the water. It was full to the brim of a brownish-gray, somewhat foamy liquid that was sloshing slowly back and forth, the noise I'd been able to hear from my bed, in small waves that crested at each end of the tub and splashed over the edge onto the floor. But what really stopped me in my tracks, I even choked out a strangled yelp, was the sight of a human hand gripping the tub's rim. What comes next? To find out, you'll have to buy the book.
Thank you so much, Jim. Everyone, please check the link in the description below this video after the talent show. And now we have the world premiere of our Tremble Clefs San Diego music video, Love Can Build a Bridge.
I'd gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet.
To share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat.
I could swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams.
When all your hopes are sinking, let me show you what love means.
Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
Whisper love so loudly, every heart would understand that love and only love can join the tribes of man. I will give my heart's desire
so that you might see.
The first step is to realize that it all begins with you and me. And
love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
When we stand together, it's our finest hour. We can do anything, anything, if we keep believing in the love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's
Thank you so much again for watching, and thank you, Tremble Clefs, for sharing your talents. Have a good night.